Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about using the SlingStudio in a church or worship service setting. I really like the SlingStudio and the features that it offers and how convenient it is. And for those of you who don't know, the SlingStudio is a nice hub, which I will drag over so you can see it. This is the one in my studio right now. It allows you to connect and stream via Wi-Fi or Ethernet connection, which is here on this USB-C hub that I got with it, and it also has two USB 3.0 ports on it. And you see right now I have a thumb drive in here. It's very convenient because I always record to the thumb drive and then just pop that out and put it in my laptop for editing. So again, the SlingStudio lets you connect up to 8 mobile devices with cameras to use for video inputs. And at the moment I have 3 iPhones connected. So the one looking at the SlingStudio, the one here in front of me, there, and then the one kind of behind me here. So those are the 3 I'm using at the moment. And then I have a video feed which is connected via a HDMI switcher so that you can see what the console, the software itself, looks like on my computer, on my MacBook Pro. And we're going to come back to this in a minute so you can see some more, but I want to go back to the SlingStudio itself. The nice things about it, it has an HDMI input here, which right now allows you to send in a video signal via HDMI there. And that's what I have my HDMI switcher connected to. Below there is, which one is that? Oh, that's the out. That's the HDMI out. Yep. So I have an output coming out of the SlingStudio, and I have it going to a USB video card that goes connected to my laptop into Zoom, because SlingStudio is easily integrated into Zoom. And since Zoom seems to be all the rage right now for streaming meetings, worship services, and the like, I can use Zoom but have all the features of SlingStudio along with it, which is very convenient. So like I said, you can connect up to 8 mobile devices. I'm a Mac person, Apple person, so my laptop, my iPad, and my phones are all Macs. But you can do it with an Android device as well, or Windows PC. But you can only have 4 active video feeds at one time on the console that you switch between, but you can always swap out one of those for one of the other 4 if you have that many connections, which is great. And it's really simple to do. Just like I switched views, it's almost just as fast to switch between the other feeds. And how you do that is, we're going to go back to the console. This is the console here. There is a plus sign right here where it says video sources over here on the far left in the middle. Click the plus sign. This comes up and tells you what other sources are available. I have a camera link, which is a wireless adapter that you can get for the SlingStudio to connect to a camera that may be out of reach to use like the HDMI connection with. So you can connect cameras to this as well. And that device looks like, let me switch here. This is the camera link. You see at the bottom it's got the battery indicator, power at the top. On this side, this is the charging port right there. This is the cable. This cable here is your HDMI mini, which allows you to plug and connect to your camera there. So, and if you look, let's go back to the console. I'm working on my diction, y'all. I'm working on it. When you go back to sources, right here, it says camera link, and then it's ID number. I can easily just drag that over. That's all I have to do is drag that over, and then that'll be one of my 4 active video sources. Below there, it says video clips. Right now I have one in here, but conveniently go to add. See this one that says SlingStudio, but it's that thumb drive icon. I can go in there, pull up videos that I've saved. Go in here. There's a bunch that I have on my thumb drive. And I can pull any of them in, and it'll just say add, and I say yes, and you go back to that screen, and it appears here. The nice thing is, if you're doing a presentation, so this is me playing a song, a worship song, so I can easily just take this, drag it here to one of the active spots, and I'll drag it up and come back after a few seconds of it playing, and it auto plays. Alright, and then just as easily, I can switch back to another view again. It also has here, see on the console it's showing this one here, and this is the audio mixer. So if you see how it's listed, it'll list each device. This is the audio in, that line on the front of the SlingStudio. That's this first one here. So this, you can see it jumping up and down while I'm talking. That line in is running in from my Behringer mixer, and so I have all my mics, the keyboards, my drum machine, and everything are connected to the mixer, and then run it directly on a nice mix into the SlingStudio, which is great, so that you could have it EQ'd and everything level. Next is one of the cameras, 2, 3. And the HDMI cable is here. So it'll label what things are for you, so you know what's what. And if you see with these cameras here, the icon for the speaker is off, because the SlingStudio will use the microphones on the phones as the audio in for each device. And so as you switch, whatever camera you bring up as the main view comes up as the audio in at that moment. Or you can do what I did, which is mute the phone microphones and just use the audio in, which is my preference. And you see that's the video break every chain is sitting here. It's it automatically muted itself because I came off of it. If I switch back to it, that should switch. So it's still playing. As you can see, the meter's still going up and down. So if I go back to it, all right. And I also noted you guys couldn't see it, but when I switched back to that clip, it immediately muted the line in the input. So that's good to know too. See, I've had the SlingStudio for a year, but I only started using the console software on my laptop a few days ago. For the past year, I have used my iPad Pro, the big one, for controlling the SlingStudio. So there are things that are a little different on the console, on the computer software, that I have to learn myself. Because I just found these three dots this evening while recording. So I'm finding some things myself. Now this is, what else is over here? I'm not going to hit review, because review is actually going back and watching this recorded program. I found that out the hard way too when I was recording this earlier. I had to start all over again because I hit review and it went back. Now here, this battery indicator, it's showing it and it's now at 60%. If I go back to here, go back to here, my package came with the battery pack because I had to switch the battery while recording because my SlingStudio is usually sitting further back here and the power cord is tied down. So instead of trying to crawl behind the desk to take it out of the tie wrap, it just made more sense to run it on battery. So let's go. I want to get to my iPad view. Alright, so I need to switch this here. And we're going to go to take a look at the view from my iPad Pro because I want to show cost, where to find, and then I'm going to show part of a previous presentation I had. There we go. Alright. Had to wait for that to switch. And here we go. So this is Amazon's website. And as you can see, it's easily found on Amazon, but you see the difference in packages. They have a few different things you can get in there, but they're all pretty much the same price, $9.99 for the basic package. Now I just noticed as I was scrolling down here, here's the battery pack, and it's $149. Now I was lucky enough to get mine with the battery included already, so easily to find it on Amazon. It works great. It is worth the money because there's no monthly fees, no pay this certain amount to sign up to register it or anything. You buy it, you got it, it works, which I love. And now I'm going to go to a presentation. So this is my iPad Pro you're looking at. I'm going to Keynote, which is Apple's version of PowerPoint and SideNote. a Keynote can open up PowerPoint presentations. Doesn't matter what version it is or anything. Keynote can open them up. But here is a previous message that I did. And another thing is, I haven't figured it out on here yet on the computer software, but you can do picture in picture, which is great. And because usually I'll pull this up, I'll hit start the presentation on my iPad. Now just that comes up, and I go to the first verse, and usually in this section right here, where you see this, the blank space next to the words, is usually where I put the view of me, so that I can still talk and show the scriptures. So it's great that you can switch in and out while you're doing whatever you're doing. So just imagine that's another view of me, or that's the worship team and the musicians, and then switch to this side, and so on and so forth. It's one of the really nice things about it, is that you can switch in and out. And another great thing is you can add in titles. So say I wanted to put in at the top where the message, what the message of the day was, and do that here, and then come over and switch. Look at that. I've got the title up there, and that's totally editable, so you can move it around to different spots or change things up however you want. You can even do just the text without the red and white. So that is that. But then once you wanna immediately take it off, you literally just drag over the same view again, and it's gone. So I'm trying to make sure I touched on all those things. I highly recommend SlingStudio. It's a great device. Now the funny thing is, I bought the Sling box, same company that brought out to market the Sling box years ago. Matter of fact, I started traveling to Switzerland to do gospel music workshops in 2008. And that first trip over, the only thing I could see on my downtime, if I put the television on, was German TV. So I bought, when I got back home, I started looking up for things that I could use, and I found the Sling box, which allowed me to connect it to my cable box at home and control it from an app anywhere in the world, as long as I had a connection. And I loved it because that was so convenient for me. So every time I went over there, I used to go twice a year for 1 or 2 weeks. And while I was over there, I could sit and watch American television and not have to try to figure out what they were saying. I eventually took German lessons just to find out that in Switzerland they spoke Swiss German, not German. So I was able to still understand most of them, but there's a difference between Swiss German and German. And another little side note, Swiss German is the one that sounds so hard, and that's them. So anyway, SlingStudio, a great tool to use for streaming your worship services, your messages, your Bible study, what have you. And like I said, you can easily bring Zoom in and integrate it with Zoom. I found that out the other day too. I was going through, SlingStudio allows you to broadcast live to Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and there are a couple more. Do I still have the console? No. I have to switch back again. But it allows you to stream live to a few different platforms. But one of the ones that wasn't on the list was Zoom. But I looked up and went to their website and did some research and found out you can use the SlingStudio as your camera for Zoom. And that was great. I mean, that was a game changer, basically. So I've been working on that and coming up with ideas and figuring out how to better set it up and use it. So that, my friends, is the SlingStudio. Hopefully you got something out of this video, learned something. It's definitely my recommendation. I definitely say get it. It's not that hard to figure out and learn, which is always a plus. And in the days and times we're in right now, you can use it for so many different platforms. And as you saw, I was doing a video where I was working on that song and putting in drums and other things so that if I have to play the song, I can do it and have accompaniment to it. So there's a lot of things you can do, and it records in high definition. Well, you can do up to 1080. So it's great. And that is it. That's the console. I think the last thing I was trying to find before I ended was the platforms. Oh, if I go here to project settings and then scroll to destination, yeah, we have YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, and then the custom RTMP. That's what it is. With that one, it gives you a key, a custom key, so that you can stream it on other platforms as well. So it's a great tool, and it's not a one that you're paying for continuously. There's some others out there, but that's one of those key things about having to pay for it continuously. So that's the SlingStudio. I hope you got something out of this. Like and subscribe. We're still continuing with the studio build here. So I'm posting videos as we make additions and changing things around and trying to find the exact way how we want everything. So we're going to keep you posted on that.